risk. And this is supposed to be the safer alternative to handheld cell phone.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Good evening. Dan is off tonight. I'm Bob Schieffer. Well, the clouds over the U.S. economy have parted just a bit. The one real bright spot is housing. New figures out today show that builders can't put houses up fast enough. Consumers apparently have decided they are the best place to invest their money. And money is going farther than it has in a while. The government reported today that consumer prices fell in July for the first time this year. Inflation is now running just 2.8%. That's down from 3.4 last year. Wall Street's response to all of this, the Dow gained 46 points today. The NASDAQ was up 11. Anthony Mason is on the Market Watch tonight.
The economy rang up some encouraging numbers in July. Led by plummeting energy costs, consumer prices had their largest drop in 15 years.
Today's consumer price numbers essentially tell us that there is no inflation right now.
Good news, but even better, says John Hancock's Bill Cheney, was the boom in housing construction, which jumped again in July, nearly 3%, the biggest increase in nearly a year and a half.
If consumers are still willing to go out there and buy houses, that pretty much says they're not about to cut back on their overall spending, and that's what's keeping the economy going and is going to propel the recovery.
Lower mortgage rates have helped. The 30-year fixed fell below 7% this week, now a full point lower than it was a year ago.
3 at 70 taken.
The stock market, of course, is sharply lower, too. But Wells Fargo economist Sun Won Son says there's a reason that bloodied stocks have not critically wounded consumers' confidence.
The biggest source of their net worth is not the stock market, but really houses for 95% of Americans. And house prices are going up, so they are feeling richer and they are feeling actually better.
Today's consumer price numbers are sure to make the Fed feel better. With no sign of inflation, many economists predict Chairman Greenspan will cut interest rates again when the Fed meets next week. The economy is poised to recover, says economist Bill Cheney, but it can still use every bit of stimulus it can get. Bob?
Thank you very much, Anthony. The slow economy has reduced dramatically the size of the federal budget surplus, but today the White House said that in a change in accounting procedures, they have been able to turn up some new money. It turned up on the Social Security side of the federal ledger, and Democrats are crying foul already. John Roberts is with the president in Crawford, Texas.
Not 6 months ago, Congress was rolling in record revenues, wondering what to do with all that money. The question now, where did it all go? In January, the surplus, excluding extra monies from Social Security, was pegged at $125 billion. Since then, $74 billion went to the tax cut. The economic slowdown took out $40 billion more. What's left is precious little to meet spending priorities without busting the budget and plunging into the Social Security surplus for the first time in 3 years.
I want the members of Congress to hear that once we set a budget, we're going to stick by it. And if not, I'm going to use the veto pen of the President of the United States to keep fiscal sanity in Washington, D.C.
President Bush has pledged to leave the Social Security surplus untouched for the next decade and is scrambling for every budgetary dollar he can find. The White House today announced that by simply changing an accounting procedure, it had found an unexpected $4.3 billion that otherwise would have been off limits in Social Security. Officials denied the move was to give the president a fiscal and political cushion.
This is a more accurate way of accounting. This is the way it should be done if you want accuracy to be your guide, and this is what any good business would do.
But Democrats, who had hammered the president for jeopardizing the surplus with his huge tax cut, today denounced the change as an unprecedented accounting gimmick meant to rescue Mr. Bush from a political embarrassment.
They're changing a rule that everyone has lived by for 65 years at the last moment, solely to cover up a very serious political problem.
The White House today shot back that there will be a budget surplus this year, despite the Democrats' best efforts to spend it. Now, none of this will have any effect on the monthly Social Security check that seniors receive, but it does make great political ammunition for next year's elections. Bob?
Thank you very much, John. John Roberts in Crawford, Texas. The calls to the FBI's hotline in Missouri have been coming in almost nonstop now. It's been that way ever since a druggist was arrested yesterday. and charged with diluting the drugs that cancer patients need to survive. Cynthia Bowers has the latest on that story.
FBI investigators are fielding hundreds of calls to their hotline and poring over years of records, trying to find every cancer patient who may have been given diluted doses of potentially life-saving medicine.
Listen to some of these phone calls. I think it's very heart-wrenching for the investigators. And that gives us, of course, increased motivation to try to find out how much of damage was done.
Robert Courtney, a longtime pharmacist in the Kansas City area, is charged with selling watered-down versions of the chemotherapy drugs Taxol and Gemzar. And in court documents obtained by CBS News, a judge says investigators told him Courtney has admitted mixing, assembling, labeling, and distributing at least some of the prescription drugs obtained and tested by the government. Drugs that contain anywhere from 40% to 0% of the medication prescribed by the doctor.
I am just appalled that he would prey on people that have cancer.
Gloria Baxter's husband, Jim, paid $3,500 every 3 weeks for Taxol she believes came from Courtney's drugstore. He died in March. Her anguish is now tinged with anger.
He just doesn't realize he's taken hope from so many people, and I just think he should pay for what he's done.
Courtney was reportedly one of only a few pharmacists who pre-mix IV bags for chemotherapy. Typically, pharmacists get the medication from the manufacturer and pass it on to the doctor for preparation.
In most circumstances, chemotherapeutic drugs are mixed in the oncologist's office by the oncologist or his or her nurse under very close supervision.
The father of 5, who will reportedly plead not guilty, is being held without bail while the court looks into how much, if any, of its $10 million in assets may have been illegally obtained. Cynthia Bowers, CBS News, Chicago.
There have been many warnings about the danger of driving while talking on a cell phone, and in some places that is illegal. That is, to use a handheld phone behind the wheel. But a new study tonight suggests that cars and calls are a risky combination, regardless of whether or not you hold the phone. Correspondent Bob Orr has our report.
College student Tony Dalawal is about to attempt a very dangerous mission. In the safety of a simulator, he'll try to drive and talk on a cell phone at the same time. As we pick up the action, he's going over a shopping list.
Pop-Tarts, strawberry jam, and Cheerios.
Tony just flunked the test.
Yeah, that could have killed this guy.
But he helped drive home an important safety point.
We found kind of a clear pattern of impaired driving behavior while you're talking on a cell phone.
David Strayer, who headed a new University of Utah study, says talking on a cell phone is far riskier for drivers than, say, listening to the radio. Those using phones miss signals and are slow to react. Most importantly, the new study revealed, it doesn't matter if the driver is actually holding the cell phone.
We found that you were just as impaired when you were talking with a hands-free device as when you were using a handheld cell phone.
That suggests new laws like one in New York which prohibit handheld cell phones won't reduce the risk of accidents. Because the distraction experts say is the conversation itself. Drivers can't focus on two things at once, so many tend to forget about the highway.
The problem in talking on the phone is you actually have to think a lot about what you're saying. And so it's not simply just listening to somebody as you might listen to music on the radio, which you can sort of put into the background of what you do.
And safety experts expect the risk will grow. 75% of drivers say they routinely use cell phones behind the wheel, where the consequences are real and not just simulated. Bob Orr, CBS News, Washington.
Nearly 42,000 people died in traffic accidents in the United States last year, but researchers said today that air pollution from cars and trucks may have killed even more. The study concludes that tens of thousands of people die each year from heart disease, asthma, and other ailments caused by greenhouse gases, the same fossil fuel pollutants blamed for global warming. Air pollution is just one of the problems tonight in the American West because of all the smoke generated by the wildfires raging across 10 states now. And there is no immediate help in the weather forecast as firefighters are stretched to the limit and running low on equipment. Jerry Boyne has our report on that.
It's a story of fire and dry lightning across the West tonight. More than 2,200 new fires in less than a week, more than 600,000 acres blackened. 100 homes threatened in the Cascades Mountain tourist town of Leavenworth, Washington, where nightfall brings a frightening light show.
I just think it's unbelievable. It makes me wonder if it's going to come down this way or not.
The flames haven't come down yet, but a dozen hikers have, rescued by helicopter from the nearby backcountry where they were trapped by approaching flames.
We're a little concerned that the winds could pick up and maybe the smoke would be too much.
Out we go. Dream vacation over.
21,000 firefighters are on the lines tonight to be joined soon by Oregon National Guardsmen who learned how to use emergency shelters today in case they get trapped in a firestorm. Oregon and Washington are the hot spots because of the abundant dry timber and brush.
You've got heavy fuels in Washington, flashy fuels in Oregon, and those create different kinds of problems and very tough fires to fight.
But some critics say it's a wasted effort. Millions spent daily on fires posing little threat to homes.
What we're seeing is actually a tremendous waste of taxpayer dollars and actually a significant amount of environmental harm by these suppression actions.
But federal fire officials say the very nature of these fires, burning hotter with higher flames and hard-to-get-to areas, make it too dangerous for hand crews, meaning that more expensive water-dropping helicopters have to be put to use.
Fighting fire is an expensive proposition, and there's lots of folks sitting on the sideline that like to second-guess what goes on.
It's a guessing game, too, about when fire crews will be able to contain the more than 40 major blazes still out of control, an uncertain situation because of a forecast that calls for continued hot weather and high winds. Jerry Bowen, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Way out in the Atlantic, it appears that Tropical Storm Chantal may be downgraded to a tropical wave tonight as it heads for islands in the eastern Caribbean. But while the storm is down, it's not out. Forecasters say Chantal could still become a hurricane. Next up on the CBS Evening News, Eye on America looks at a juvenile crime and drug prevention program that starts before birth.
The CBS Evening News and tonight's Eye on America segment are sponsored by Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Relax, we got supplemental insurance.
What are you talking about?
If we get injured and miss work, we're covered for things like lost pay and other expenses with them.
With what?
Plus, they pay you cash. Great, huh?
Who does?
Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Buick Summer Drive Away adds bonus cash. Through August 31st, get a Buick Open Golf bonus on top of closeout cash on every new 2001 Buick. Drive away with total cash back offers ranging from $2,400 to $3,900. Hurry. Golf bonus cash ends August 31st. Buick's great summer drive away. And be sure and test drive your all-new 2002 Rendezvous at your Buick dealer now.
Can't get enough of you, baby. There's a place where folks celebrate life and get real fired up over food. It's got to be Applebee's. It's Applebee's Fiesta Del Grill. Make your taste buds dance with our one and only lime marinated chicken, our sizzling fajitas, or for a limited time, the Southwest Steak Skillet. 11 ounces of heaven grilled to perfection. It's got to be Applebee's.
The last couple months we've been searching for a laptop because we like to go out and go places where other people aren't. Having a laptop allows me to take work with me, and I don't have this stress saying, you're not here at work.
We were able to go into the Gateway Country Store and basically say, here's what we do. And they set us up. Now, the big thing is that we can be mobile. And now I can take my Playmate with me on the weekend.
Visit a Gateway Country Store and try out our 2 new notebooks.
Cheese It, made with real cheese.
The 5. Fumble!
Get your hands on new Game Day Cheez-It crackers. Football shapes for football fans.
There's new concern tonight about the growing abuse of the drug OxyContin. Researchers say that kicking addiction to this powerful painkiller may be as tough as heroin or cocaine. Which brings us to tonight's Eye on America, which looks at programs that are meant to prevent drug abuse and crime, especially by juveniles. The government has been spending billions of dollars on these programs, but do any really work? Well, the answer is yes, and Jim Axelrod visited one at the top of the list.
Since babies don't come with instruction manuals,
Hi, Jessica. Hello.
you might be looking at the next best thing.
As you can see, there isn't much room for the baby to move around, but...
Kat Girardi, a nurse in Elmira, New York. She teaches at-risk moms Parenting 101, starting 3 months before baby comes.
Some people need to be taught the basics because maybe they didn't have the basics.
And following up for 2 years after.
Oh, she's still taking a bottle. Yep.
As much as she helps the mom become a focused parent, the real target is the child. It's a 20-year-old program now in 200 counties nationwide. An alternative approach to just say no. If you want at-risk kids to walk the straight and narrow, put their moms on the path first.
The first years of life are very important. A lot of things are developing at that time, and when those first years start out as good years, then I think their later years will be better.
What started years ago as a theory here in Elmira has now yielded some concrete facts. In a 15-year follow-up of the first children born in the program, there was less drinking, less drug use, and less crime. 54% fewer arrests than kids from similar backgrounds whose mothers did not get the training.
Improving health, improving care, helping families become more economically self-sufficient will, based on our research, produce better functioning children once they reach adolescence.
Program developer David Olds has some walking, talking proof.
That turned out okay.
Tom Petros, second in his high school class of 300, and now a 3/8 student at RPI, one of the top technical colleges in the country.
It was high risk. We were lucky.
Julie Petros was one of the first moms drafted into the program. She was 18, more prepared to party than parent.
They were still kids when they had me. I think the program probably helped them grow up so they could make sure I grew up a little more on the straight side.
And your bed's made.
Kat thinks this approach will not only produce more Tom Petroses across the country, but help create one in her own home.
I know I'm a better mom than I would have been without it.
At 15, she was pregnant and alone in Elmira. None of Kat Girardi's clients can tell her the program won't help, because that's exactly where she turned, to straighten her life out.
My mom taught me all the things not to do. So...
You broke the cycle.
I did. And what a cycle it was.
A cycle her 9-year-old is well on his way to not repeating.
I hope that he's a better person than I am even today. Bye.
Guided by an approach
Be good.
his mother teaches and lives. In Elmira, New York, I'm Jim Axelrod for Eye on America.
She works hard but needs help to afford day and night care for her kids. Tomorrow, threatened federal budget cuts and what they could do to her on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Think he's gonna make it? Yeah, these guys are good. Yeah.
At Sears Auto Center, we install your tires in less than an hour, or you get a $20 Sears gift card. Sears, America's #1 tire retailer.
The Maytag Gemini range is the only range with 2 separate ovens. Two ovens.
Better put the rolls in the oven.
But the chicken isn't done, and the rolls bake at 400.
Guess we can just have the rolls for dessert.
Who said you're staying for dessert?
The Maytag Gemini. 2 ovens, 2 temperatures, 1 harmonious meal.
It's not just ovens. I even defrosted a freezer instead of going to the prom. What do you think of that?
I think someone needs a hug.
The long jump. The dash. Life is like a sport, and your feet take the impact hard. But new Stride Guard insoles absorb 50% more heel impact than these Dr. Scholl's. Take more impact than Stride. New Stride Guard insoles.
I'm every man.
And every woman who ever suffered from frequent, persistent heartburn.
If you've treated your heartburn and changed your diet, but the pain comes back 2 or more days a week, then you may think you know about acid reflux disease.
But there's something about acid reflux that I didn't know.
Over time, that acid churning up can wear away the lining of your esophagus.
I didn't know.
I didn't know.
I didn't.
Now the makers of Prilosec introduce their new purple pill, Nexium. Just one prescription Nexium a day gives many people complete resolution of heartburn symptoms.
That could mean complete heartburn relief.
And Nexium is also proven to heal erosions in the esophagus caused by acid reflux. Only a doctor can determine if you have this damage. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. The most common side effects of Nexium and Prilosec are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. So talk to your doctor and call this number for more information and for a free trial certificate for Nexium.
Relieve the heartburn, heal the damage. It's possible with the new purple pill called Nexium.
Being first is never easy. Will I make it? Will I be laughed at? Will it be worth it?
A bitter land dispute in the African nation of Zimbabwe has torn the former British colony along racial lines. Hundreds of white-owned farms have been invaded and farmers jailed for resisting. Today, the government filed subversion charges against 4 journalists who reported police involvement in looting attacks on the farms. And now the crisis may spread to neighboring South Africa, as Mark Phillips reports on assignment in southern Africa.
The white farmers of northern Zimbabwe have been providing their own video record of the current wave of invasions. Foreign TV crews have been largely kept away. It's a familiar pattern. Gangs of self-described war veterans, many too young to have actually fought in Zimbabwe's independence struggle, invading farms, driving off their owners, and trashing what they cannot steal.
Sick to the core of this possibility that humans can resort to this type of thing. I just can't believe it.
When a group tried to come to the aid of a fellow farmer, they were arrested and charged with assault. What had been a conflict over land redistribution, most of Zimbabwe's farms are still white-owned, has become an issue about whether there is still anything like the rule of law in the country. When a newspaper reported that police vehicles were being used in the farm attacks, indicating government involvement, the editor and 3 staff members were arrested until their lawyers could get them released. The turmoil has devastated Zimbabwe's economy, and not just on the farm. White-owned businesses are now being targeted as well, their workers threatened, and livelihoods put at risk by war veterans out to intimidate urban blacks, most of whom support the opposition movement here. Marco Gaurizio, who owns this factory, made the mistake of openly supporting the opposition and had to relocate his tractor business to South Africa after receiving death threats.
I was actually physically pulled over by a group and told that my actions would be responsible for my kids' lives.
But the passions of Zimbabwe's land reform chaos are threatening to follow Marco Gaurizio to South Africa. Here, too, the unemployed and the dispossessed have become frustrated with the slow pace of land reform.
The squatter camps of South Africa, filled with the desperately poor who have drifted in from the countryside, are fertile ground for the farm occupation idea.
And community workers say there's a growing danger here, too, of people taking the law into their own hands.
Frustration, disillusionment, losing confidence, and this generates resentment on one hand, anger on the other hand.
Zimbabwe's president, Robert Mugabe, has vowed to continue his land reform program despite international criticism. But the movement he's inspired threatens not only his own country, igniting passions, scaring off much-needed investment, and putting the entire region under a cloud of economic chaos and political instability. On assignment in South Africa, I'm Mark Phillips.
U.S. Army paratroopers suffered an unusually large number of injuries today during jump training in Germany. About 400 paratroopers made the jump at a military training ground northeast of Nuremberg. More than 30 were hurt, 10 seriously enough to require hospitalization. No explanation so far from the Army.
did you expect? Bob Dole?
Follow Mark Martin and the Viagra racing team this season.
Get to your doctor for a checkup and find out if a free sample of Viagra is right for you.
And for more information right now, race over to Viagra.com.
Have you gotten yourself into too much credit card debt? You may be able to point and click your way out with a second mortgage from Ditech.com. Whether you have equity or no equity, Ditech has a second mortgage with a no closing cost option that may help lower your monthly payments. Why pay minimum monthly payments when you can pay off your high interest debt with a second mortgage from Ditech.com? For fast, friendly service, apply online or call us at 1-800-71-FIX now.
Yesterday, allergies took you out of it. Today, Allegra can help bring you back. Only Allegra has fexofenadine for once daily relief for people 12 and older. Side effects include headache, upper respiratory tract infection, and back pain. Call your doctor now for more information. Allegra, enjoy your world.
6 weeks before one of the biggest games of my life, I felt a strange pain in my chest. What my doctor found was my toughest opponent yet. 3 of my arteries were more than 90% blocked. After recovering from surgery, lowering my high cholesterol became more important than football. Later, I was fortunate enough to coach my team in the biggest game of the season.
That's the kind of play we need.
Along with a healthy diet and regular exercise, taking Zocor every day helped significantly lower my total cholesterol.
Zocor is a prescription medication and is not right for everyone, including women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant, or people with liver problems. Your doctor may do blood tests to check for liver problems, because serious side effects can result. Tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience while on Zocor and about any medicines you are taking.
When diet and exercise are not enough, talk to your doctor about Zocor. Take care of yourself. It's your future. Be there.
First drought, then fire. We'll take you to an Oregon resort paying the price twice for the dry summer. Tonight on KOIN 6 News at 6.
Now to our evening news in notes. U.S. astronauts Daniel Barry and Patrick Forrester did some high-level space work today. They hooked up a giant can of ammonia to the space station. It will be used if the station's air conditioner springs a leak. And back on the home planet, yes, that is a moose swimming in a Spokane, Washington swimming pool. The moose wandered over from nearby woods, did a few laps, then climbed up the pool steps and looked around for a while, and then wandered off again. Pool owner said, well, it was a hot day. That's the news. Dan Rather will be along with 48 Hours at a special time tonight, 8 o'clock, 7 Central.
A heartbreaking internet adoption scam. Dozens of couples were promised babies.
The baby's not coming home.
There were no babies.
This is something that is so evil.
48 Hours investigates tonight.
That's tonight at 8, 7 Central. For Dan Rather, I'm Bob Schieffer, CBS News in New York.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the Internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
What threatened child care budget cuts could do to her tomorrow. Experience CBS News.
Now, with Jeff Gianola and Kelly Day, this is KOIN 6 News at 6.
The flames at this point are trapping hikers, and residents are evacuated. Their homes are right in the line of fire, and now the fear intensifies tonight as the winds pick up again. Firefighters know that pretty soon these flames